Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Let's bring in our audio audience. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, we're going to talk about the fate of Islam. Bury Islam. See, brothers and sisters, when you connect the dots, everything falls into place. It's got to connect the dots. But you can't do that if you watch NFL, NBA. The world is moving along, and we, as a people, are being left behind, way, way behind. Negro butts. We have no idea of where we're going. All we know is we have, right? I mean, some of us, we got a job, We got a job, got some food, right? Got honey, right? Got a car, got a flat screen. We got the NBA, NFL. Man, what else we need, man? We're in heaven. And you have no idea what's going on around you. This whole world is about to blow up. It's blowing up right before your eyes. And what are you doing? Are you paying attention to it? How are you going to fit into that picture? So you got these crazy, stupid-ass preachers telling you, oh, you're going to be raptured. You have to worry about it. And stuff like that. And you're going along with that. What if that doesn't happen? You'll be stuck right in the middle of hell because hell is breaking loose all around you. And what are you doing about it? You have an exit to all of this. It's not a rapture. But you don't know about your exit. You don't have to put up with any of this because all the hell that these folks been doing for 500 years is catching up with them. It's caught up with them, actually. That's what I said, come out of her, my people, come out. Because if you stay here, you're going to catch it with them. So let's go a little background here. We came over here as Muslim, 1555. See, and they couldn't break us. See, because we wasn't buying into those BS. That story about Joseph. See, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and betrayed into Egypt by his brothers. That's Ishmael. That's the Sunnis. See, that's why they call them desert niggers, because they know that they are brothers and sisters, but they've been circumcised, so they got rid of that black skin. See? And they're claiming our inheritance because it was Isaac that was blessed. See? Not Ishmael. But according to the story of Joseph, right, he was in prison. He wasn't enslaved, he was imprisoned. See? And he had to teach them how to solve their problem. They didn't know how to do it. The whole economy was about to collapse. He taught them how to save the economy. His reward was what? His reward was his descendants was enslaved. That's the story of us, brothers and sisters. See? They know we had that knowledge because he could solve puzzles. He was creative. He was wiser than them. They knew that. They know that's about same about us. Because they knew Joseph. They knew Joseph's capabilities. And so that's one of the reasons why they denied us being able to read or write, because they knew if we did, we would outshine them. See? We'd excel past them. They knew that. Would you tell a dog, you You deny a dog to be able to eat and read and write? You don't care. Because if he does, he's still going to be a dog. He still ain't going to be intelligent as you are. You do that to people you don't want, right, to excel you. That's why you say, no, you can't read or write, because if you do, then you'll be smarter than us. It wasn't because we was dumber. Because if we was dumber, then why would they care if we was able to read or write? Why would they care if we was, why would you care if a monkey learned to read or write? Why would you care? Because he's dumber than you and me, so he can read or write. So what? You're still in a cage. You're still wise than him. You still control him. Because we're still in the cage here. You're not in the cage? Okay. See? Just let's look at this clearly. See? When you're in chain slavery, you're still in slavery now on plantation. You worked in the fields. Right? You worked in the fields. Right? You had a shack provided by MASSA. See? No floors or anything. And you was lucky if you got a shack, because I tell you stories where you didn't even get that. See? You got a pair, they got these things out there, they got these things on the internet. Oprah did one, I'm not with her, but the point is she did one about slave letters or whatever. And they said you got one pair of shoes. And that shoes didn't last his whole year. You was barefoot the rest of the year. Cold or whatever, didn't matter. Got some raggedy clothes. See? You got transportation to get out to the field to work. What they gave you to eat? See, they wouldn't give you pork chop and stuff. They fed you hog, which was against, because we came over here as Muslim, understand that. But they gave you hog, and they didn't give you, and what they gave you is just the words, the stuff they were throwing away, called shillings. That's what they called it, sisters and brothers. They called it shillings, because that's what was the worst. They gave you the hog part that they used to throw away. The meat that they would throw, the stuff of it, the hog, they would throw away. After they gut the hog and everything else, the stuff, the intestines and all that stuff that they would normally throw away, that's what they gave you to eat. Okay, so now you got that, right? Okay, so let's move forward to 2000. See, we're going 400 years into the future, right? So you still work for MASSA, right? But now you call it a job. See? You still live in your little shack, but now you say you're paying rent. See? Because now he's giving you some money. Or let's back up there. Say, for instance, let's not move forward. Let's go back. What if he said, okay, Amos Blacksmith, because if his name was Blacksmith, then your name was Blacksmith, because you can't use the brand. And if you went to MASSA Hornfeld, then your name became Amos Hornfeld. So in other words, it wasn't a name, it was a brand to show who owned you. So you walk around those names now, you're just telling people that you're still a slave, that you're still a Negro butt. That's what you're telling people. See? And tell other people to know that. See? Because if you come to me with those names, and then once, I'm not the same thing you say, because you don't know the hell you don't even know who the hell you are, so I know you're going to tell me anything. I'm not even going to pay attention to you at all, and there's zero. Okay, so he says, Master, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start paying you. See? I'm going to start paying you now. See, so you're not a slave anymore. You got a job. But your job is doing the same thing you was doing before, go out there picking that cotton. But now you're getting paid. So you're still out in the field picking that cotton, doing that's exactly what you was doing before, right? And now he gives you enough money to pay for that shack that he was giving you. You get enough money to buy that one pair of shoes. You get that money to buy them raggedy clothes. See? And he gives you a mule, the money to buy a mule to get back and forth, right, to your job. That's all the money you have. Just do the same thing you was doing before, but now you got money until you're free. Now, how in the hell, in that mood, isn't that exactly what's happening right now? Isn't that exactly what's happening right now? He's just upgraded, Master a little more, a little richer, so he can give you a little more. Isn't that exactly what's happening right now? And you say you're free? So the dumb Negro back there on the farm, oh man, I'm free now, man. I got a job. He managed to give me some money. And he's doing the exact same thing as before. Only different is the fool told him he was free and he gave him some money. He's doing exactly the same thing he was doing before. Exactly. No different. Only thing is now, he's got some money. They told him he's free. So he's happy now. I'm free. See, I got some money. See, I can pay for that shack. I can pay for them shitlings. And that's what you're saying right now. Because you're a prison, you're enslaved nation. You don't have your own rules, you don't have your own custom, you don't have anything. All you guys, what Master gives you, he tells you what to do, and if you don't put your ass in jail, and even when they so-called freed you, they didn't free you because of slavery, they freed you because they didn't need you anymore. They went from the agricultural age to the industrial age. But see, you don't understand any of that. And they didn't give you anything, they didn't give no severance pay, anything. They fired your ass, threw you in the ditch. You had nothing. But you don't understand any of that. And you letting these demons, see, that's another part of it. Who is the demons? Well, you call them house Negroes. Who was they? They was Master's children. See? And they was living off you too. See? Because they was in Master's house. See? And they was and their responsibility is to spy on you to make sure you stayed on track. Make sure you stayed programmed. Because they took 64 years to program you, to turn you from Kuta Kinte into Toby. 64 years to do that. That's it. And enslaved Joseph's children, his descendants. 64 years to do that. So you came out semi-line. You went in Kuta Kinte, you came out Toby, right? You came out a Negro butt. Totally programmed. Thoroughly programmed. So now you make new Negro butts. See? So now you made Negro butts, now you make a robot, and then make the robot so you can make more robots. So you turn your children into Negro butts. You turn your children into Negro butts. Because the robot just do what he don't think. Just do what he's told to do. Same thing. And you, oh man, I'm free now. Are you? Oh yeah, see, you want to hear that? Okay. You want to believe that, you're going to find a few more days that you're not. See? And then, see, they think long term. See? They destroyed us as a nation. See? And it says that we Suleiman's job to come in to restore what was lost. See? Elijah came to prepare the way. He said, I will send my messenger to prepare the way before me. See, that's the whole thing. But you don't want to be restored because you think you're whole. And it got you to hate your own culture. It got you to hate your own nature. Because where's your nature? Your nature is Islam. And you hate your own nature. You hate your own nature. Oh man, the Muslims. You got you hating your own nature. That's what you was before you came here. You wasn't a Christian before you came here. Christianity imprisoned your ass. Capitalism imprisoned your ass. Democracy imprisoned your ass. But now you adopt those things, and they took you from Islam where you was free and healthy and strong. They took you away from that. Now you despise your own nature, and you run after Master's so-called American dream, which is a nightmare, because what that means, you're giving all your energy to promote his reality, which is not yours. So you never be successful in it. You're building someone else's dream. Because their dream, you're not in it. You help build it, but you ain't in it. See? There's a little background there. So you take a ponder that for a minute. I'm just let you take a small little break here. I'm gonna let you ponder that for a minute. See, MASSA just tells you everything because you're not supposed to think. You don't ask any questions about religion, about society, about history. You're not supposed to ask any questions. Just do, and most of you, that's what you're doing. See? How far you think you're going to get with that? You see what's happening in the world today. So I'm going to give you an example. See? Because first of all, their whole ideology, their whole idea, their plan, right? They got a lot of different directions they want to take this, but they have an ultimate goal in mind. And you're not in it. See? But they got the old age. See, this all started out with the conflict of religion. See? Because before America became established, right, the conflicts in the world, the conflicts in the world, to the extent that there were conflicts, was on a religious basis. And then they came to this thing called separation of church and state. So they put the world on a state basis, political basis. And, there's some genius to it. It served their purpose. But before that was religious. And for 1,000 years, right, you had this big conflict between this so-called new religion, which is actually the revival of Abraham's Islamic empire, because they're not telling you that. They're not telling you that Abraham was the one that built Mecca, the one that built Medina, the one that set up the pilgrimage. They don't tell you that. But it's a fact, and you can check it easily, check it out. Because that's the region Abraham was at. He set up all that. But they can't tell you that because they can't connect Abraham with Islam because they do that. Then they got a problem. Because Abraham walked with God. He talked with God. You see? So they can't tell you that Abraham... See, I mean, okay, Abraham, they knew Abraham existed. They believe he did. So where's evidence that he existed? Where's the place he built? They said he built all these things. You read scripture. So what happened to those things? See, they're supposed to still be around. Okay? See, but Islam is not a religion. See, religions are philosophies of how, trying to explain how things happen, how the universe came to existence, who we are, how we came to existence, and all that's their philosophy, all of them, every one of them, because none of them are reality, because you can't bring anything into existence from them. If they're realities, then you should be able to bring something into existence out of them. You can't bring a Islamic plane, right? See, we're talking about Sunni Islam, right? You can't bring an Islamic plane. You can't bring a Hindu orchard, right? A food, right? You can't bring Buddhist fuel, because they're just philosophies. They're not reality. There's attempts to explain how things exist. And see, and you caught up in this because the point. That's why there's so many of them. Because all of them, there's different people trying to explain, and some of these so-called religions has come and gone because people try to explain how things came to be, and some became so ridiculous that people just rejected them. Right? Over time, see, in other words, as people moved on, became more advanced, they realized that couldn't possibly be correct, so they got rid of them. They call them myths. And so a lot of things that they said that they're telling about Christianity and Sunnism, right? Modern day science proved that those days couldn't possibly be right. See, so they're dying. That's why you see so many people rejecting Christianity, so many people rejecting Islam, Sunni Islam. I gotta make that. See, but the battle back there, and that battle went on for 1,000 years because when read chapter 20. Read chapter 20 now. Revelation, because it said there was a resurrection. That's Prophet Muhammad resurrected Abraham's Islamic empire because it declined into idolatry, and he came and cleaned it up. He didn't create Islam. He didn't create Mecca. He didn't create Medina. He didn't create the pilgrims. All he did was clean it up. They won't tell you that. See, because they can't make that. They can't connect you with that. And there's a reason. See, and that was a conflict, so-called crusades. That was a conflict that went on for 1,000 years. Because Islam, the resurrected Islam, kept them locked up in the bottomless pit, which was Europe, which was a shithole for that whole 1,000 years. They kept locked up there for 1,000 years, and that was a conflict until they finally broke out. See? So the war between the two has not stopped. That's what you need to understand. See? Because they perceive Islam is trying to eradicate Christianity. Right? Or Catholicism. It's not the same thing. Both are not the same thing. Right? So, they're in the process of eradicating Islam. Islam that locked them up. But they ain't going to tell you that way. They want to bury Islam. They want to bury it. See, because that's their major opponent. And see, we the authors of Islam, the true Islam, because true Islam is not a religion, it's mathematics. And that's this whole creation is based on mathematics. You can bring things to existence out with mathematics because mathematics is the only true reality. You can bring things to existence with mathematics because mathematics is the only reality. They say, well, I can bring stuff in existence with prayer. Okay, well, if that's the case, then bring a Christian car. See? It operates off Christian principles. Not off mathematics now, off of Christian principles. See? Can't do that. Oh, man, what do you mean, man? I prayed for a car and I got it. Okay, but how does that car operate? How does it operate? Do you have to put gas in it? You have to go to a dealer? You said God gave it to you, so why you had to go to the dealer and ask him to run your credit check? Why you had to do that? Why you got to make payments? If God gave it to you, it should be a free gift. I mean, he gave it to you, you got to pay for it, so why you got to do all that? Why you got to put fuel in it? If God gave it to you, see, it's all bullshit. Stop the bullshit. So anyway, right? We the authors of it. See, because Islam is not a religion, it's mathematics, but it's also our nature. It's our nature. And they already buried the authors of Islam. That's us. They buried the author of Islam already, us. See, and you don't know it. You're dead and buried. Well, I mean, if you're dead, how would you know you're dead, right? That's what I'm saying, because you don't know. You're dead and buried over here. You're still a slave. You're still in the plantation. But they don't trick you, tell you, oh, no, we got a job now. But you're still here in America, ain't you? And you still got to obey the laws, don't you? See? And I'm going to take a little segue here. Why did Joe Biden have to take and sign an anti-lynching bill in 2022? Ask yourself that damn question. Why he's got to sign an anti-lynching bill in 2022? Why he's got to sign that? Anti-lynching. Is something I missed? Something you don't know about? Why he's got to make it a federal crime? I mean, why would you? Okay, that's like saying, okay, I mean, it's a crime to loiter on the moon. The crime to loiter, you know, to throw garbage on the moon. I mean, who in the hell doing that? Why you gotta make a bill, you know, to loiter on the moon? Makes no sense. Unless somebody's up there loitering on the moon. So why they gotta make an anti-lynching bill in 2022? Google just did it. See? So it's somebody's missing somewhere, ain't it? I mean, if it's a one-off, right? I mean, if some astronaut went up to the moon and threw some gum on the moon surface, you gonna make a law that says you gonna outlaw loitering on the moon for one incident like that? Am I making sense, brothers and sisters? Something is missing somewhere. Something is missing somewhere. Let's get back on target here. Seems like every time I try to let it go with the landscapes or whatever. So I hope you're not catching all this, brothers and sisters. Hope you're not kidding. Hope they finish soon. It's very irritating. Right? It seems like every time I always try to move around them, they catch me every now and then. Anti-lynching bill in 2022. See? Something's going on. But the bottom line here, brothers and sisters, is that they brought us over here and they buried us. They buried us. They got you hating your own nature, hate your own religion, if you will, because it's not religion. I don't want to have them in Islam. See? They got this. They infiltrated us with demons. They said half the blacks in America are demons as slave masters' children. To keep us down, to make sure we stay programmed. And what are they doing? See? When they took you out of the so-called chain slave, they didn't need you anymore. They give you anything, any severance pay, anything. But what's going on with you? See, they sent all the industrial jobs that came from your creativity, which you don't understand. They sent them all to China. China became a powerhouse. What if those jobs stayed here? China became a powerhouse because of it. So your intellectual jobs over to India, the ones that can't, they bring Indians over to take them. And the ones that, and the menial jobs, right, the low end, they bring people across the border to take them. While you sitting around here with nothing, admiring the demons, master's children, they see on TV, because they wouldn't be on TV. They wouldn't be in Hollywood. Any of those things, if they wasn't master's children. He never lets you in the house. He only let his children in the house. Because they got to say what master wants to say, and master could trust them because he know they thought just like he thought. Only issue they had was they wanted to be treated like the rest of his children. That's one issue they had. But he couldn't trust you because you had a conflict. There was a conflict of nature. But he kept telling you, hey, if you be a good nigga, then you can be in the house like them. You know that was never going to happen. And some of you bust your ass trying to, oh man, I'm going to do extra bail of, hey man, because man, if I please master, I'll be in the house too. I have these nice clothes and eat some better food and stuff. It never happened. See? So the only thing they got for you is prisons, which is back in chains again. That's the only thing they got for you. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. Because look, our people are not doing very well. Though you don't see them on TV. See, you won't hear that type of voice on TV. You won't hear their voice. They made that mistake with Malcolm. They said never make that mistake again. Because they heard the voice while he was under Elijah Muhammad. They heard the voice of the real black people in America. They heard that voice. And it scared them. See? They make sure you never hear that voice again. And Farrakhan is not that voice. Anybody that wants to argue about it, I'm not going to argue with anyone. But the point is, the fact is the fact. Nothing he's saying corresponds to what Elijah Muhammad taught and the lesson that Master Muhammad left behind. Nothing he says, it contradicts all of that. He's doing what the devils tell him to do. And he's a demon. Just Google him. His bio says his father's name Percival Clark and his father's the devil. He got a picture of him. So we ain't going to argue that point. And if you think that a devil can be your Messiah, then you are either a demon or you're a total idiot. You don't understand nothing Elijah Muhammad taught. And sure don't understand anything Master Muhammad taught. So they buried the author of Islam. Now they want to go and bury Islam itself. At least what they think is Islam. See? The physical side of it, you know, the political side of it. See, what they refer to as religion. And so how are they going to achieve that? See, because remember, they've been at war with them for over 5,000 years. Nearly 1,500 years now. because they want revenge. Because they kept them down for 1,000 years, locked up in Europe for 1,000 years. So you think these people forgive? They tell you to forgive everything. All the shit that they done to us, you're supposed to forgive it. But they ain't forgive nothing. But they ain't want to say it. They won't say it. See? So now, how do they characterize Islam now? Oh, we love the people, we just hate the rulers. See? That's just bullshit, because they want the people to rise up against the rulers. And when they do, then they kill the people too. You see what happened in Libya? They got people rise up against Gaddafi, and now Libya is a shithole. It was a beautiful, it was a pearl over in Africa. People was healthy, rich, successful, not wanting anything. Gaddafi took care of his people. See, they had to pay for anything, from the oil revenues, and now he's gone, and the whole place is a shithole. And if you're black, you don't even want to go in near the place. They can put you on the slave market. This I don't have to take. Don't take my word for it. Just check it out. I don't tell you to take my word for anything. Anything I say, you can prove it. So, when you connect the dots, stuff starts making sense. Because at that time, a couple of hundred years ago, not a couple hundred years ago, but 100 or so years ago, right? When they first started making, when they were in the industrial age, and they came with the engine, the main supplier of oil came from the Middle East, from so-called Saudi Arabia. See, it doesn't belong to the House of Saud. That's a trick they use, because Arabia is really North Africa. But they changed it to Arabia, and then they called it Saudi Arabia, like it owned by the House of Saud. And that's the reason why they're doing that, because the House of Saud are not even Arabs. They're Indians that the British put on the throne to guarantee that oil kept coming, because they couldn't trust these Sunnis, because they might wake up and cut it off. You see, that's another story altogether. Injil reveals everything. So, the thing is that everybody was dependent upon that, and then there's a lot of things we can talk about on that. So I'm not going to go too. I'm trying to stay on point here, because a lot of stuff we can talk side issues about that. But we bring up to modern day, and you ask yourself some questions. Okay, they're still one of the major oil producers, but they think that oil is only going to last. See, oil is something. It's not like air. It gets used up. There's only so much oil under the ground there. The same thing that produces oil produces topsoil. See? So that tells you right there that Arabia used to be lush with life, because that's where oil comes from. When decayed organic matter, and it decays, right, and into the ground, and eventually turns into oil. That's what oil is, decayed organic matter. Animal life, plant life. That means that place, but it beats so much, that place used to be a paradise. And the same process is what creates topsoil. See? So that means there's a lot of topsoil there. See? And I know you don't understand this, but we covered that place with sand 50,000 years ago when they ran us out of there. They protected because we knew we was going to return. But Farrakhan said we're not going anywhere. That's not what the Abrahamic Covenant says. Check the Abrahamic Covenant, bro, and see if you never heard of it. 'Cause I know many of you never heard of it. Martin Luther King tried to tell you about it just before he killed him. They told him, don't tell the people. He did. They blew his head off the next day. Read the Abrahamic Covenant. Don't just read the top part where Farrakhan tells you to read. Read the whole thing about who you are, what you've done, what your reward is, and where the promised land is that you're going to inherit. Read the whole thing. But that's pertinent to what's happening right now. So, let's look at a couple of things. Now, you go to Arab countries, right? They're not producing anything, are they? They just live off the oil. Not any technology, nothing. So what happens when the oil runs out? See, what are they going to live off of then? They're not producing anything, not engineering anything, not producing any kind of any technology, anything. To sell, all they have is that oil. But the oil is going to run out. See? And the only thing they have is sand. Now, the intelligent Arabs know that. See? Okay, now the other thing about it is they don't have any banks or anything over there because they're supposed to be against usury. See? So, all the money's over here in American banks. And the dollar is king. So everybody has to take transact in dollars. This whole thing's a setup. See? And dollars is controlled by, the value of dollars is controlled by America. And it's a promise. See, dollars are a promise. See, it used to be when they had dollar bills, it says this was worth so much gold or so much silver. So you could trade it in and get that gold and silver for it. But they banned that. You can't do that anymore. See? In fact, they made it illegal for you to own gold. So you don't know what it's worth. They tell you what. So it's like giving a person a promise. Here it is. I promise to give you 10 pounds of gold. Here's $1 million, right? See, this is a promise. This $10 million is a promise that I'm gonna give you equivalent value in gold. That's all it is, a promise. That's all money is. It's all illusion. See? Because you take the money, you cash in, it's up to America to decide whether even to give you anything back. Because remember they sanctioned, they taking your funds. We use Iran, for instance, right? Okay, Iran was a democracy in the 50s. Long story short, BP Petroleum, British Petroleum, was in there and they was taking all the oil. They said it belonged to them because they developed it, but it was in Iran. And the Iranians said, hell with that. They nationalized it. And then Britain went to CIA and disposed the president and installed the Shah. Right? He gave them all the oil they want for about 30 years, from the 50s all the way to 79. When they finally disposed him, he was a tyrant of the worst kind. He wasn't Democrat, he was tyrant. They say they love Democrats. They got rid of one Democrat and put a tyrant. See, all this is bullshit. They telling you stuff and you believe it. They say they're liars. These people never told you the truth one time. If their mouth came and truth came out, their probably whole face would just rot on the spot. See? And so, billions, some people say trillions of dollars of gold was bought from, oil was bought from America, bought from Iran, and the money was placed in American banks. So what happened was when he got disposed, the Shah came over to try to get that money. They wouldn't let him in the country. Carter would not let him in the country because they didn't want him to come and get that money because that's part of the scam. So now America had to, on paper, they was owing Iran, right? Because they had transacting dollars on paper. But in reality, they ain't pay anything because they had the gold, they had the money, and they wasn't going to get the money. So they told Shah no. So therefore, why the Rangers hate us? Because you stole their oil for 30-some years. You didn't pay a dime for it. You see? They didn't put, and all this thing talking about, well, we're going to have JCPOA, and we gave, Obama gave them $30 billion. That was their money. He didn't give them anything. That was their money. And they still got most of it still locked up. Now Biden said we're going to give them a little more of their money. See? But that was the plan all along. To take and, because that's why I told them that they made a deal with so-called Saudi, the House of Saud. When I said the Indians anyway, they're not even Arabs. The deal that only transact, that's why I call it the petrodollar. They only transact in dollars, in petrodollars. So that means they control. And the whole idea is to take and have, because they know they have no banks or anything over there, they take and sell them the oil, they put the money back in American banks, and then when the oil runs out, then they accuse them, oh man, you wasn't good with women. You was a tyrant, like that stuff. And then they freeze the money. So therefore they got all the oil for nothing. It looks on the book like America's broke, but in fact they're not. They know they're not gonna pay the money. They know they're not gonna pay you the money. That's just part of this plan to eradicate Islam. So they take all the oil out of it for nothing. And then you say, well, and then see, that's one of the reasons why I had to get rid of Trump. Because Trump didn't get the memo. Because he started drilling oil. He said, we're going to make America self-sufficient. They didn't want that. Because if they start pumping oil here, that means it takes longer for the oil to be used up in soil. Because now, remember, Biden was telling them, we pump more oil. He don't want to use his oil here. But he said, oh, that's causing climate problems. Well, ain't the all over here causing climate problems too? We still on the same earth, ain't we? You're still buying the bullshit. Stop the bullshit. He said, "Oh, we don't want to pump the oil here because it's caused climate control problems, global warming." Well, it says global, didn't it say American? It didn't say American warming, American climate. It says so. If they're pumping all this, same difference, ain't it? But he tell them, "No, we want you to pump more oil, pump more oil." They're trying to get them to use up all their oil. That's why Trump, they one reason to get him out of there because he didn't get it. He didn't get the memo. No, we don't want to use our oil over here. We want them to use up all their oil. Because once all their oil is used up, then what? Bury Islam. See, because they don't want them to have any source of money in any form except that oil, and they want to use the oil up. Because the only countries, every country that try to advance any kind of technology, they get any Arab country that start trying any technology, they destroy it. They kind of some reason destroy it. They did Iraq and did it in Libya because they don't want them to have access to any kind of commerce, any kind of economy, anything other than that oil, and they want that oil used up, and that'd be the buried that because the only thing that's keeping Sunni Islam going over in that part of the world is the wealth of oil. That's the only thing that's supporting it. If that goes, Sunni Islam goes. Because nobody's gonna buy sand. Those people gonna be starving. They have no technology. They're not producing anything, right? See, so all they got is just sand left, and they're gonna be starving. And then what? Then America come in and say, okay, we help you out. We give you financial aid and everything else, But you got to get rid of that Sunni stuff. You got to change it, or just outright get rid of it. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They can't make the guns they have. They got that from America. They can't make any guns. They don't have any industry. They don't have any industry over there. No industry at all. Because every country stopped saying try to build industry. They got rid of him because they don't want you to have an industry over there. That's two of the reasons why they got rid of him. Two of the reasons because he was building industry, and the other thing is he was getting off the dollar. He said, "I'm not going to do the dollar anymore." That means they would have to pay him for all they've been taking. And remember, that's the whole idea. They want to pay him. They want to get it for free. And the same thing, Gaddafi said, "No, I'm not. I don't want your dollars anymore. I want gold." And so, same thing, industry, and he made that. He was getting off the dollar standard, so he had to get rid of him. See. That's what's really going on. And then therein lies what the problem have with Iran. Because Iran is industrial. They build their own stuff. See? And now they demanding real payment for their oil. They don't want this bull because they already knew what happened what America did before. They were the first victim of it. So they're not going to depend on American dollars. Now you understand what's running this foreign policy, why they're doing things that don't make any sense. It seems don't make any sense, but when you collect the dots, it makes sense. They bury the author of Islam, us over here, and they make sure we never get anywhere. Because look, they make sure same thing here. They make sure we never stand up. They got the demons there. They look like they prosperous, but they're all for MASSA. That's all they talk. Wave the flag. They're all for MASSA, but you don't have anything. Like I said, they send the jobs overseas. Everything, so you can't produce, and they only got prison for you. See? Long prison sentences and everything. Who the demons voted for that stuff. So-called black caucus and everything, they blow for all that stuff. To put you in jail forever for nothing, have a vial of crack, right? And they got, and the white boy, he's got a whole 18-wheeler load of cocaine, and he gets a slap on the wrist, and you get slapped in jail for 50, 60 years. See? Now, and so therefore you ain't producing anything while you're in jail, are you? You're not reproducing, are you? And then they got the abortion going that's also pushed by these demons. Margaret Singer, right? They received the Martin Singer Award when Martin Singer said that was the whole reason why she started Planned Parenthood to eradicate black people. Said they was evil, they was sick, they was stupid, they was weeds. But yet still these Negroes are receiving Margaret Sanger Awards. Hillary Clinton received one, and so did Nancy Pelosi, and black folks. It says, wait a minute, hold. That's like Jews receiving an award from Hitler. And you still don't get that? The Democratic Party? What have they done for you? Nothing. They put all your children. And Biden, he was the one that pushed that bill under Clinton to put the mass incarceration. Now they thought, oh, well, maybe because he wanted to get elected, maybe that was too harsh. Well, then you're president. Why don't you pardon him then? If what you think was wrong, then why don't you pardon him? You ain't doing that because it's bullshit. They keep telling you, oh, well, they give you a lot of lip service, but you don't pay attention to what they're doing. They send your jobs overseas. That's the Democratic Party. The Republicans ain't no better because Reagan's the one that stopped that program that allowed Indians come and take your jobs. But they say they all the same. They got the same objective. They just got different methods and strategies to get there. You understand? You need to understand this, brothers and sisters. See, they send your jobs overseas, right, to China. That's industrial jobs, because Detroit was like a black Mecca, right? See, and now Detroit's a basket case. You probably go in and buy a brand new house for $15. It's a basket case because they sent all the jobs over there overseas there. They could have gave you. How can they train you up to take those jobs? How can they train you up to do it? The fact is, you're better at it. That we got the proof. They did a program, found you better at it, but they didn't want you to have them. See, they sent your intellectual jobs over to India, and the ones they couldn't send over there, they brought the Indians over here to take them. So how can they develop you for those things? Why didn't they? But they were all the while they was building prisons on an unprecedented rate to put your ass in, and they was privatizing the prisons. And it's on record. The people that was buying the prison said they only buy the prison if the government can guarantee to have so many inmates. What is that? What does that mean? The government's got to guarantee that they're gonna have prisoners for them in those private prisons. What does that mean? That means your ass going to jail. Oh, you got a traffic ticket? Okay, well, that's 5 years. You know, because you must have been doing something. You know, you was resisting arrest or something. Because they guarantee it means they got to put people in jail. See, abortion already aborted 22 million and counting, and it says in birth rate in New York right now is negative. That means more black babies being aborted than born. You don't understand? You see the pattern here, brothers and sisters? See? So they're burying Islam, the author, and the practice. You're the author of Islam, and they got you already brainwashed. The verse destroyed us already. They would have if Master Muhammad came and awakened you and quickened you. Elijah Muhammad didn't stay and nurse you for 40 some years. And then Pharaoh came and put you right back to sleep again, put you right back in the grave. In the grave. Then Suleiman has to pull you out of there before it's too late, before they throw dirt in your face. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Bury Islam. If you think about it, then you understand what's going on. See? Why they over there tearing the place apart? And then Farrakhan said, well, he predicted that. No, they already said it. What's that general's name? I can't think what his name was. Wesley. Right? General Wesley something. Wesley Clark or something, right? He said he went to the Pentagon. He made it public. And they told him their plan was to take and eradicate Islam. They was going to take down all the Islamic countries, and it was going to start out with, I think they said we're going to start with Libya and end up with Iran. So how in the hell Farrakhan predicted that when they already made it public? Because he's a liar. Because he's a demon. And he's trying to bury it. He's not teaching Islam of Elijah Muhammad. He's teaching Sunnism, which is another way of burying us, and that's another story altogether. And Scientology, he's mixing it up. There's so much confusion that if he was to die, he's going. He's going to be going pretty soon. The day of tomorrow, they got so much confusion they would never get out of that. It would never. It would just be gone. That'd be the death knell of the way Elijah Muhammad taught. Hold on for a minute, brother and sister. Someone is trying to reach me. Okay, brothers and sisters, back. So, the demons, they're pushing Christianity on you because they're Christians. See, they with MASSA. And it's all a lie. They can't prove any of it. I said there's philosophies. They got you hating Islam. Remember that movie, what was that movie, Black Panther? Right? They started out, right? Started out slamming Islam. Okay, you're talking about these so-called Muslims over in Africa, right? And they was kidnapping women and stuff. They didn't tell you the whole truth about that. And he had to go and wipe them out. And then the other one that was trying to defend black folks, right? He said he had all these marks on his arm. He said, see all these little marks on his arm? That was how many Muslims he killed over in Afghanistan. Now, why in Afghanistan? What did Afghanistan have to do to America? See? So they got you hating Islam. I was talking to a brother the other day, and I was telling him, I said, war's about to break out, man. I said, war's about, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, see, you got to understand the angel. This war with Russia is not that, that's not Armageddon. That falls under the category of wars and rumors of wars. They always say, Vladimir, whatever his name is, right? He's already trying to make a deal with Russia where he's going to capitulate and say, okay, we're not going to have nuclear bombs. We're not going to try to become NATO, and then so we stop this thing. But that's all Vladimir Putin wanted anyway. That's all Putin wanted anyway. He said, I want you to stop. I don't want you to be joining NATO. I don't want NATO up on my doorstep. I don't want you to have nuclear weapons in there. You understand? So, that's unreasonable. He's a dictator. Well, America did the same thing, but with Cuba, back in the 60s, 60 years ago? Right? Same thing. But this was Cuba. And Cuba, several hundred miles off the coast, and wasn't even on the coast of America. So, and they told Russia, you guys are going to go to nuclear war with Russia because Russia was putting missiles in there. And then they say, well, he's unreasonable. Well, that's the same thing. He's doing the same thing. But these people right on his doorstep. He said he don't want that stuff in there. So he started saying, and you buy all this stuff. You buy all this stuff. You buy stuff about Iran. How, oh man, Iran is there, all this stuff, right? And they don't tell you what happened. They stole the people's money. And they oppressed them for all of them for 50-something years. We were from 50 to the 79. So what's that? That's about 40-some years. They don't tell you all that. See? They don't tell you, you know what I'm saying, about that thing about how they was going to go to war because they put missiles in Cuba, but they tell him he can't, he's a criminal because he tell him he don't want missiles on his doorstep. And this was down, America went to go to war when it was down the street, a few blocks down the street in the next county. But they tell him he's wrong for doing the same damn thing, and it's right on his doorstep. Because you don't pay attention to these things. Because they're lying to you, and they're going to keep lying to you until they throw dirt in your face, and that's when you're going to realize it. What these people got to do to you to make you realize who they are? They're devils. What they got to do to you? They're doing everything under the sun. Everything under the sun. And they're still doing it right now. Aborting your children. Right? They're trying to turn them gay. See? Because that's the demons. Black people are against all that kind of stuff. See, original people are against that kind of stuff. Obama went to Africa and they ran his ass out of there. And he's African himself. He said, man, we don't play that stuff here. Because he told them he was going to tie financial aid to transgenderism and gay and all that gay rights. He said, the hell with that. We don't want your money. He ran his ass out of there. And same thing here. Because they tried to put this bill in California, right, to for some kind of gay bill or whatever, and the original people voted down. They voted down because they ain't for that. See, just and the gays told them, we gonna get you. This same thing. Hey, what's got to do with civil rights? Well, just two men loving, just love. What's gonna have a problem with love? Okay, well, when you have a pedophile, that's love, too, ain't it? Ain't that love? He's loving a child. So if you're gonna talk about love, ain't that love? See, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You see? Same thing when this Buddha judge, whoever his name is, right? See? They couldn't get the original people would vote for him. And then you had these demons come and say, don't worry about it, we're talking about voting for you. Because they said up front, they said, we're going to have a problem with the African Americans. That's what it calls. We're not African Americans. That's the demons. See, we're not even Africans. See, we're Asiatic. See, because the Middle East, what they call the Middle East right now, Arabia, that's just North Africa. You better check the map again. They call it whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. That's where it came from. See, well, they won't get that vote because they ain't going to vote for it. The demons will, and they convince you to do it. Spoil your children. They've been raping us and murdering us. And I still have to ask the same question. Why has he got to sign an anti-lynching bill in 2022? If nobody's being lynched. And it's just maybe a one-off. See? You have no idea what's going on. You know, you still got people in chain slavery in this country, especially in the South. Oh, you got them, they back in the bayou back there, and they don't even realize what time it is. Same thing, remember after World War II, right? They found out like 30 years later that they had Japanese soldiers on islands, and they thought the war was still going on. They thought it still was, because they was cut off from communication. They thought the war was still going on. They still got some of y'all in chain slavery, just as bad as it was back in the bayous, back there on place, they got them back there doing it. That's why he signed a bill like this. That's part of the reason. They ain't gonna tell you that. Those people don't know. They still think it's still 1800s. Because you ain't going back there. If you got any place near close to that place, you're gonna be home. Then you find what's really going on in this country. You don't even know your history. That's why they call them CRT. They didn't want to shut it down because CRT was revealed. They call it. It's not a damn theory. Call it Holocaust a theory and see how long you last. Call it Holocaust a theory, see how long you last. What they did to us was no damn theory. But then with a CRT, critical race theory, wasn't no damn theory. And what they did is 1,000 times worse than anything, Holocaust than anything else. A million times worse. And a million times more people died. They say they calculate as maybe 100 million black folks died just in the process of setting this whole thing up. Critical race theory. Ain't no theory. They don't want nobody to know about it. They don't want their children to know about it. They want everybody to think they're good people. See, they're holding on to the idea. See? But now, everything's about to change. See? So let me run a couple of things through, and then we'll stop here, brothers and sisters. Things came to a very profound state in 2020. Why? Because the Abrahamic covenant talks about, and this is what Farrakhan, he lied because he got busted and then he lied. You know he lied. See, he's just a liar. Elijah Muhammad taught that we came over in 1555. It took 64 years, right? In 1619, that turns into Negro butts, and that's the official date of slavery. Beginning, because they weren't slaves before that, right? But 69, and that's according to their records, even American records, devil's records. So 1619 to 2019 was the 400 years that the Abrahamic covenant said that we would be in this condition, oppressed and everything else, right? But see, after the 400 years, God will come and judge, and the first judgment, it'd be 10 plagues altogether, but the first of the 10 plagues would be a plague that would kill the firstborn and pass over us. And exactly what happened. In 2020, it came out, and the plague jumped off right on time. I told people about it. Farrakhan missed it. He ran into that COVID wall at 2,022 miles per hour, right? 2,020 miles per hour, just like everybody else, because they didn't see it. He should have seen it, because Elijah Muhammad taught that 1619 was the official for their slavery, and then he should have got that. But then he came and said, "Oh no, man," could try to cover it up. Because first he didn't mention. He took 7 months to even mention it, because he had so-called Savior Day end of February, was 2 months in. He never even mentioned it, because he had no idea. And then he finally mentioned something on so-called July 4th, when he couldn't even walk, right? Because he's disemboweled. Then he said, "Oh no, well, you got to go 1555." He knows a damn lie. Elijah Muhammad didn't teach no bullshit like that. See, so because according to that, then if you go 50-55, that means in 1955 should have been the end of it, and then 1956 should have been the plague. So that's how he tried to get around why he didn't call it. See, because he's a liar. But I called it. So 2020 came, and that's what it, and it passed over us. They claimed it was telling lies. Oh, it's killing black folks like flies. But then the World Health Organization, WHO, produced, you can Google it, produced a paper about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, saying that this plague was not affecting black Africa, it wasn't affecting Haiti, a place where mostly blacks live. And it wasn't, they didn't say about us here, right? But if it's not affecting them, why is it affecting us? Because it wasn't affecting us. I ain't never wore no mask, any of that stuff. I'm 73 years old. See? Because it's a lie. So that's when everything, the stuff hit the fan, it was clear. And the Jews understood that 100%. They understood what that meant because they claim the Exodus is how they got started. That's the basic religion. Because remember, they just did Passover recently, or it's going to happen. If they haven't done it recently, going to do it soon. Passover, because that's the whole idea. Passover passed over, but then Passover falls. Israel did it. They getting hurt. They getting destroyed with it by this plague. See, so stuff hit the fan then. So they knew exactly what that meant. So all of a sudden they changed the script. Or they love you now. They want to do all these things for you. See? Because they know exactly what that meant. You know, God's getting ready to tear their ass up because they got 9 more plagues to go. And those 9 more plagues is all surrounding this war that's about to break out in Europe, but it's going to break out in the Middle East first and spread quickly to Europe. This thing with Ukraine and Russia, that is not it. So Farrakhan stuck his foot way up his ass because he said, that's it. And it's going to spread, all right? And then they're going to come try to crucify him. No, it's not going to spread, right? And he's already been crucified, been disavowed. I mean, what else can you, okay. He's putting his shit and pissing in the bag, right? It's pathetic. He's a liar. He's Legion. Louis Eugene grounds NOI backwards. He called him out. He's a liar. He's a demon. So things hit the fan. See? So they had to speed up everything now. So now, oh, they love you so much. They're going to do all these things for you. And they ain't finished. It's going to get a whole lot more, you know, because when the war actually starts in Europe, right, they're going to be begging you to come over there. We want you, you know, and lots of you going to go. Tens of thousands of you going to go over there and get your hair blown off for MASSA because you don't know any better. My people are lost for lack of knowledge. You don't have to be bothered with any of that stuff. See? You got to exit. You have exit they don't want you to know about. Farrakhan don't want you to know about. We ain't going nowhere. But he claims he's supporting Master Prophet Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. The purpose of Master Prophet Muhammad come here is to restore us, to tell us, to give us good news that we're going back home. The purpose of Elijah Muhammad for 42 years or 47 years, 40 several years, right, was to underscore that message and propagate that message, right, which he did for 40 some years. He deprogrammed tens of thousands of us, right? He deprogrammed us, and that ran that shockwaves right into the hearts of these devils. And then Farrakhan came and reprogrammed you again. See, that's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Now I try to connect some dots for you. Now you want to keep looking at NFL and NBA, you'll be looking at it when they cut your throat. Because their plans is, like I said, their ultimate plan is to eradicate all of us. All of us. See, they're already doing it. I mean, what else can they do, brothers and sisters? What do you have? What do you have? You look around lately, the technology, the few jobs that's left, you ain't gonna be able to get them because they're taking and gonna have some driverless cars. They already got driverless trucks. They got trucks on the road right now that's driverless. See? They already ordered them. You've been to Walmart lately? So what jobs are going to be for you? See? Because you claim you need a job. You don't realize that master owns you if you got a job. You got a mortgage. He owns you. The mortgage and all that stuff, those are just slavery tools to keep you under control. When you get back home, you won't have no mortgages and all that kind of stuff because you own it. Before you came, you owned it. But now you got to pay him to live in your own creation. pay him to live in your own creation because you created all this. You're the maker, owner, the creator of the planet, God, and the universe. But you don't understand that because they made you turn a Negro butt. They deprogrammed you, right? They reprogrammed you actually, and turn you to Negro butt, and you don't know anything. And now you're going against your own self. Now you're going to want to fight people, your own people, for MASSA. And MASSA, let me say this one last thing. I don't know if anybody saw a movie about Geronimo. Oh, it's about 10, 15 years old, I guess, right? What was that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Gene Hackman. He was the general. So they was trying to track down Geronimo, and they got this other tribe to help him. So they got another tribe to help him. I think he was Cheyenne or something. They had another tribe, the Pawnees or something, to help him. So after years of looking, they finally trapped Geronimo, trapped him, got him. See? And so they had him in prison. They was going to send him down to some prison they had in Florida. That's where they put all the, Indians. And so all the tribe to help them finally get Geronimo, they lined them all up in a fort. See? I ain't trying to warn you demons out there. We ain't trying to warn you because we don't want you. See? We ain't trying to warn you at all. I'm trying to tell my people what's going on. See how these people do. So they lined up all the people that helped them get Geronimo. If you saw the movie, and it got a letter from the president. We're going to read a letter from the president. Thank you for your support. We thank you for helping us doing this project, this mission. Thank you, whatever, right? And then they took all their weapons from them, all the guns from them, and said, thank you. And then they put them in the same prison they put Geronimo. Same prison. And they all on a train looking at each other. They say, if people buy shit, why not sell it? They've been selling you shit for the last 40 years and you keep buying it. You don't ask any questions. They tell you about mystery gods, mystery angels that fly from one end of the universe to another with just wings, right? And all this stuff they're telling you, they can't prove any of it. It's all lies. And they keep telling you stuff we never believed in before we got here. They tell you a story about everything, lie, and they tell you the truth about nothing. And you keep buying it because part of the reason, because these demons are selling to you, because they look like you, talk like you, walk like you, so you think they are you, but you should learn by now, these people betray you. Martin Luther King, they said when he was killed, right, because he was trying to tell you about the promised land. Read the speech. He's trying to tell you about the promised land. He said when Elijah Muhammad did something to him, and he got enough strength to go out and get that speech, and he blows his head the next day. And they said all the people that was around him on the balcony, because all that whole thing is bullshit, all turned out to be all agents. Like Farrakhan, they all agents. To keep you down, keep you stupid, keep you programmed, until they finally blow your damn head off. So, brothers and sisters, you keep watching NFL and NBA, hope you enjoy it. See? Because that might be the last thing you see before the lights go out. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Let's hold on for a second. Let's go and close out here. Okay, to audio, brothers and sisters. Right. This is Black Alert. At the fire zone. Black Alert out. To your video, brothers and sisters. Bury Islam. That's the plan. They already buried the authors of it, you. Assalamu alaikum.